So last time we talked, Gwyneth Westwood, the founder of My Not So Berry Challenge, did nothing while her fiancé, Joseph Bastianich, visited his secret daughter Tessa Scott and took her to the park for her birthday, and her daughter and our heir, Rosalie Bastianich, hung out with her love interest Jaquan and friend Neelish before going on a date with Jaquan. Towards the end of her date, Rosalie and Jaquan were getting very flirtatious, on the verge of kissing for the first time, or at least, that's what Rosalie assumed. Instead, he took her home and gave her a kiss on the cheek. Rosalie was a bit disappointed, but at least she knew that Jaquan was a gentleman that wasn't trying to rush her into doing anything. They agreed to hang out during lunch at school the next day before saying their goodbyes. Rosalie returning home right before curfew. Her sister Bella was busy with her homework, and our founder Gwyneth and her fiancé Joseph were busy with their premarital affairs outdoors, where your neighbors can see. Absolutely shameless. No, Sonia, you may certainly not watch. I bet she's drier than the Sahara after being down there for so long. Gwyneth's midlife crisis officially ended. I guess Joseph solved that issue for her. Girl, you better clean Rosalie's siblings off before you walk back inside the house. Luckily, I don't think she noticed. And as she watched Joseph's kids disappear into the drain, Gwyneth remembered that she needed to have a very important talk with her daughter, especially since she's getting involved with boys, the dreaded woohoo talk. This should be fun. Gwyneth interrupted Rosalie right as she was about to start her homework. Gwyneth let it spill out. What woohoo is, why Sims do it, everything there was to tell, making Rosalie super uncomfortable, along with angry. Girl, why should she trust decisions you make regarding men? The whole conversation sent Gwyneth into a spiral of paranoia. She's probably convinced Rosalie will make the same mistakes when it comes to men as she did Law. But the woohoo talk made Rosalie put two and two together. She wasn't hearing her mom and daddy exercising when she was a kid. She was hearing them woohooing. She was mortified and had no other choice but to look up what woohoo was in detail. Wait, that's woohoo. That's how object babies are made. You put the what inside the where, you'll feel a heartbeat where. Dear God, it looks so painful. The look on that Sim's face certainly can't be good. Why would anyone do this for fun? This information was terrifying. But Rosalie couldn't lie and say she wasn't a bit intrigued. It was an incredibly intimate, vulnerable thing to do with someone else, so she knew she'd have to have strong romantic feelings for whatever Sim she eventually decides to do it with, which could possibly end up being Jaquan. Amelia Aurora, excuse me. You know what? It's fine, you can have him. The morning soon came. Gwyneth spent her morning working on her logic skill, and Rosalie finished up her homework before heading to school. Besides all the terrifying facts about woohoo, Rosalie was thinking non-stop about her first upcoming high school/college party for Spooky Day this weekend. She only had 2 days to come up with a costume. She thought it over as she ordered a snack from the vending machine in the courtyard. In the middle of snacking on her pizza roll-up, one of her love interests, Levi Birch, came up to her and randomly started screaming incoherently. Can my girl Rosalie ever get a break from men and their BS? Not you two Santos. Why is everyone scared? Our heir was unbothered, finishing up her pizza roll-up before heading to class. She attended boring math business as usual, trying not to fall asleep as she took notes. Excited to spend her lunch with Jaquan. She was already in the mood to flirt, but Jaquan had something else on his mind. He brought up the Spooky Day party coming up this weekend and wanted to know if Rosalie would like to go with him as his date. Rosalie would love to be Jaquan's date to the party. That meant that her and Jaquan could go in a couple's costume, and she had a few ideas in mind. It felt like things were really getting serious between her and Jaquan, so she just had to ask. Does he know anything about woohoo? Rosalie just found out about it and was gobsmacked. Jaquan knew all there was to know about woohoo and told her to ask him about it and not listen to other rumors. Rosalie felt so safe talking to Jaquan about such a personal topic. In the process, Rosalie found out about Jaquan's romantic interests. He's into girls, but is open to exploring. Rosalie never really thought about her sexuality. She just assumed she liked guys. Wow, was there a lot to learn. She was overwhelmed, so overwhelmed that she decided to skip her last class to nap in the upstairs lounge. When school was over, she wouldn't dare go home. She was so fascinated by woohoo and simuality that she needed to keep talking about it, this time with her favorite sim in the world. Well, her favorite besides her rancid father, her best friend, Finley broke. I know this dude didn't just walk in on Rosalie using the toilet. Levi, you have no right to be calling anyone stupid after screaming in the high school courtyard unprovoked. Finley soon arrived at Thriftier to hang out with his bestie. Rosalie was tense from all of this new information about woohoo and angry from being a hothead, so she ranted to Finley about it all. Finley thought it was kind of funny how little Rosalie knew about woohoo. He learned about it so young after walking in on his mother getting wicked with her numerous baby daddies. This kid is relatively calm for having so much trauma. Finley was curious as to why Rosalie wanted to talk about woohoo so much. Was she planning on woohooing with Jaquan or something? Rosalie assured her bestie that she had no plans to woohoo with Jaquan anytime soon. Woohoo is special. She'd only woohoo with Jaquan if she felt like she was in love with him. They weren't even boyfriend and girlfriend. Finley seemed relieved, which Rosalie found funny. Why does he care so much? Whatever it was, it didn't matter. Stinky, hot-headed, hungry Rosalie felt like all of her questions about woohoo were answered today, or at least most of them. She was sure she'd eventually have more questions, and eventually desires.